This brother's something special. Okay, his poise in the pocket, his athleticism, his willingness to stand in there amongst the giants and take hits, take punishment. Got to give credit where credit is due. He only got sacked once after being sacked in FBS record 52 times last year, or the FBS most 52 times last year during the regular season. He only got sacked once. Only got sacked once last night. So that was an improvement. But he was running for his life half the damn time he was out there. And he was getting popped silly after he released the ball on a few occasions as well. So that is not good. But his ability to continue to make plays under duress, I believe, cements him as a surefire first-round pick and one of the top two quarterbacks that's going to go in next spring's NFL draft. Shedeur Sanders, I don't know if you can legitimately pick maybe this cat Beck out of Georgia, maybe somebody like that, but I don't know if you can pick anybody else ahead of Shedeur Sanders. And when you consider his pedigree and the fact that, yes, primetime Deion Sanders is your father, the greatest cornerback in the history of football, arguably the greatest athlete who ever lived. Primetime Deion Sanders is in that conversation, y'all know. He's in that conversation. When we look at some of the greatest athletes that we have ever seen in the history of this country, if not all of mankind, Deion Sanders is in that conversation. You can bring up Jim Brown. You can bring up Michael Jordan. You can bring up LeBron James. You can bring up a whole bunch of people. You got to put his name up in there. Primetime Deion Sanders. One of the greatest, if not Bo Jackson, let's not forget him. But when you think about just athleticism, arguably the greatest athlete in the history of man is primetime Deion Sanders. Could play football, could play basketball, could play both sides of the ball in football, could play special teams. I mean, the brother's special. And you see what Travis Hunter is doing. He doesn't come off the field playing for Deion. He plays wide receiver. He makes plays. Saw that catch in the end zone, in the right corner of the end zone with the dude draped all over him in his arms. He still caught the damn ball. The brother is special. And here's a legitimate question, ladies and gentlemen. If you have an opportunity, a top pick in the draft, knowing how important the quarterback position is in the sport of professional football, do you automatically take the quarterback? Or do you say, yo, if it's a choice between Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, what do? Do you automatically go with Sanders? Or does Hunter give you cause for pause and say, yo, wait a minute, this brother's all-purpose brother. He can play wide receiver in the slot, wide out, outside the numbers. He can play cornerback. He can play safety. What do? He can play free safety. He can play one of the cornerback positions in the National Football League. He can definitely play wide receiver with his speed. What can you say? I got to look at that and say, yo, it's not that easy of a decision. Now, me personally, I'm going to go with the quarterback because I see how important the quarterback position is in the National Football League. But it does give me cause to pause. I can't front. I got to look at it from that standpoint. That's just where I'm at with it. So I got that out the way. All right? These two brothers right here are something special to behold. And this cat, Jimmy Horn Jr., that chalked up about 198 receiving yards his damn self, this brother is special. He's the fastest dude on the team. I just look at Colorado, and here's where I'm at. You're still undersized. And when you go up against them hogs, them meat and potato brothers, you understand? Eating whole chickens and turkeys and stuff like that for breakfast. I just have a hard time trying to figure out how you going to survive withstanding that for a full season. And moving to the Big 12 and that conference, although it's not the SEC or the Big 10, still more physical with more talent than the Pac-12 that they were in. You went 4-8 last year. You lost 8 of your last 9 games, including 6 straight, although 5 of those games was by 1 possession. I'm just looking at Colorado, and I'm saying Deion got an entirely new revamped offensive line that clearly is doing a better job of protecting his son from getting sacked. But what about improving the running game? And if you haven't improved the running game, then you're asking Shedeur Sanders to throw the ball 30-plus times. He's going to accumulate numbers. Travis Hunter is going to be a leading candidate for the Heisman Trophy. He keeps this up. Sanders is going to be in the conversation for the Heisman himself. But is Colorado going to win any games? I'm not going to lie to you. I can't see them winning more than 5 or 6 games. I just can't see it. I can't see it. I'm sorry. So that's just where I'm at with it. I also want to say this, though, before I go to break. On the NFL side, there's been so much noise made about Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott can ball. But if I got an opportunity as the Dallas Cowboys to get my hands on Shedeur Sanders, I mean, can we rule that out, y'all? I mean, we family. You know, sounding like Bernie Man, we're family. Can we rule that out? Can we definitively say that, yo, he ain't as big, he ain't as strong, he's not going to be as durable as Dak Prescott, so guess what? No, I wouldn't. But I can't say that. Because when I see his daddy, knowing what his daddy did as a superstar football player, and then I see this brother playing the quarterback position, that's his seed, and I see that same moxie, that same bravado, that same bravery and courage, that same poise under pressure. We got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, when we talked about Colorado last year and how sorry they were, it wasn't because of their offense. They've been scoring points. It was their defense. They've been scoring points. Only time I saw them didn't do much offensively was when they went against Oregon. These brothers can play. And when I see that kid, knowing who his father is, knowing the pressure that's on his shoulders at that quarterback position, he ain't playing for Alabama. He ain't playing for Georgia. He ain't playing for Ohio State or LSU or Michigan. He playing for Colorado. And you still got to deal with him on an elite level because he's an elite brother. He's special. Shedeur Sanders is special. Travis Hunter is special. And this kid, Jimmy Horn Jr., I believe, is special. Where's the running game? We know about that. And I don't expect much from Colorado this year. I'm just hoping they win more games than last year. But when I think about this kid, I'm thinking about all these damn conversations about Dak Prescott, who clearly is going to get his money. He's got all the leverage in the world for the Dallas Cowboys. You can't franchise tag him, and you can't trade him because he has a no franchise clause, and he has a no trade clause, and he's got all the leverage in the world, so he's going to get his freaking money. We know this. But every now and then somebody special comes along, and there's just that it factor. And I'll just ask a rhetorical question to all of y'all out there. I already asked one question. If you had a chance to get Shedeur Sanders, do you hold on to Dak Prescott? Do you go and grab him? Because it's all a hypothetical, because we know it's not realistic that he's going to be available for the Dallas Cowboys, who probably have to trade up to get him, and who's going to want to give up the assets to trade for somebody when you know you got an opportunity to get a player of Sanders' caliber. That's fair enough. But here's the other.
Deion, right? They won, but kind of felt like he lost at the same time. So I think we know where he's alluding to. Do you feel better or worse about Colorado after that win?
I feel better, Molly, and it's because of what we saw. I mean, this is one of the most exciting duos I have ever seen in college football in Shedeur and Travis Hunter. And to me, that they are the show. The issues are going to come later. Can they stay healthy? Can they survive the gauntlet? And can the rest of the team kick up a little bit more than that defense showed at times last night? But this is exactly what they had to do. Anything other than a win was a disaster for Prime and his Colorado program, but they got it. And I'm not one of those, a win is a win. I think it's a cliche that's very lazy to offer. But the point is that they were the spotlight of the country. That's what people are talking about today, whether it's LeBron or anyone else. And that's really what this program is built on. It's built on great talent in very specific places, and it's built on buzz. And they're getting the buzz today. And that, to me, is all that matters. Are they a great team? No. Are they a playoff team? No. But they do have a chance now to get a winning record, a bowl game, and move forward as a program.
Bart?
I mean, for me, it was an electric atmosphere. It was entertaining. But, you know, what Deion is alluding to is the fact that, you know, it wasn't the type of dominant win that they wanted to show. You talk about Pat Shermer coming over as the defensive coordinator. They almost surrendered the same amount of yards that they averaged last year. That was worse in college football. That can be fixed, right? That can be improved upon. But I'm wondering how long can they captivate the country? It was like 3 games last year that, you know, they had America's attention, TCU and then the wins after that. But, you know, they're going to have to play a lot better. But what's undeniable is that Shedeur Sanders is an NFL, you know, starter in this league, probably a first-round draft pick. I don't know if he goes first or second. But I've never seen anything like Travis Hunter. I mean, we talk about, you know, to me, he's the Shohei Ohtani of college football. Like, we've never seen anything like this. This dude is one-of-one. He's a unicorn. I mean, I've seen guys that come in like Charles Woodson that plays maybe a couple of snaps on offense. I mean, this dude is like a marathon runner. He sits there. He plays the whole game. He doesn't complain. He's a 4.0 student. Like, to me, he should be the number 1 pick. And I'm thinking that the New England Patriots are going to be the number 1, probably have the number 1 pick. I don't know if I trade down for a team for a quarterback because I don't want to miss out on a talent like this. We've never seen anything like this. And last year he did this, but then he got injured. He's a Heisman candidate. He should, like we talked about on Get Up. It should be his award to lose, even if Colorado is a bowl team or not. He's that special. I've never seen anything like this ever in all my years of playing football and watching football.
That says a lot. Stephen A.?
Bart's absolutely right. I mean, you know, and we saw Travis Hunter, and for all the criticism that people will want to throw in the direction of somebody like Terrell Owens, it's good to see Terrell Owens on that sideline talking to that young brother as a receiver, because this brother is special, and obviously T.O. is a Hall of Famer. But when I think about Travis Hunter, him playing on both sides of the ball, being an elite defender, plus he seems to win every one-on-one matchup you can find. Anytime he's in one of those situations, he's the one coming down with the ball. So, you know, I definitely agree with Bart on that level, especially when you look at a guy like Coach Primetime Deion Sanders and what he was capable of doing on both sides of the ball. He's not only the greatest cornerback in the history of the National Football League so far as I'm concerned, but also if he wanted to be, he could have been an elite wide receiver. We saw him play wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys, for crying out loud. We know what he was as a special teams player with kickoff and punt returns. Travis Hunter is that kind of player. He's that kind of all-world player. Not comparing the two, but I'm just saying you can see why Deion gravitates to him. The brother doesn't need to come off the field, and plus he's a straight-A student. Major props to that brother. Shedeur Sanders, he's got his father's genes. The brother doesn't crack under pressure. He gets hit a lot, sacked the FBS high 52 times last season, only got sacked 1 time last night with an entirely new revamped offensive line, all 5 new starters. Give credit where credit is due. This brother's special. I think he's going to be one of the top 2 quarterbacks taken in the upcoming NFL draft. I think he should be. He's that special. He's one of those dudes that's a game changer. It's going to make a difference, put the talent around him, and he's going to make it happen. He's not going to, you know, wince and cower beneath the pressure. He's going to rise to the occasion. Yes, it is. They got some offensive firepower. They're going to put up some points this year.
Paul, I want to kick this back to you. Do you agree with Bart that Travis is a top 5 pick? And also, would you say Shedeur is one as well?
To me, they both look like top 5 picks, and I totally agree with Bart because I mean we have seen enormously talented players come down the pike, but very few just leave your jaw on the table, and even beyond the top 5. And I even hate to go there. We're still in August, but we could have a unique situation that I don't believe we've had since the 50s in Paul Hornung, where Travis Hunter, I think, if he doesn't get edged out by his quarterback, could legitimately win the Heisman Trophy regardless of Colorado's record. There's a cliche that we often disseminate that you have to be a contender. I've said it 1,000 times on this show, but he's different. Travis Hunter can do it all. And And we've seen that very rarely. Woodson was unique. Desmond Howard could do a lot of different things. And that's why they won the Heisman Trophy. They did more than their position. And he does. I mean, he plays his position as wide receiver better than anyone. And he plays, obviously, the cornerback position better than anyone. And that is unique. And even for, dying breeds like me who don't like to vote for average teams to win the Heisman, he shatters the mold. And I think and it's early, we know, but if this team can move on, and if he can stay healthy, and I think that's the key. He's playing way too much against a team like North Dakota State last night. He needs breaks, otherwise he's going to get banged up.
My concern looking at them, you're totally right about that, Paul, but I'm looking at a couple of things. Last year, Colorado ranked dead last in its running game with just 68.9 yards per game, 2.3 yards per carry. And clearly, it doesn't look like that was addressed. You're going up against an FCS school, North Dakota State, even though they're obviously elite on that level. The bottom line is when you look at them, you're supposed to be able to run the football a bit more effectively. Of all the changes that Deion Sanders talked about making, he clearly made an effort to protect his quarterback, his son, at the quarterback position with 5 new offensive linemen. All right, so they can pass block a little bit better, it appears. And hopefully that will continue to be the case. But what about developing a running game? Because that can also take some pressure off your son at the quarterback position. And I didn't see any evidence of that last night. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you had literally 9 drives for North Dakota State that went at least 9 plays. At least 9 plays. You got to be able to get cats off the field. You got to be able to make stops. And obviously, looking at the schedule in the Big 12, it's anticipated that you're going to face better competition than North Dakota State. So if you're letting them, move the football up and down the field on you, well, then imagine what the competition is going to do. That's the concern that we have as we sit here today. Again, no questions about Shedeur Sanders or Travis Hunter other than their health, staying healthy. We don't have any questions about their games. We know what they bring to the table. What help they're going to have against stiffer competition remains to be a huge, huge question mark.
Yeah, it was fun to watch, absolutely, for sure. And as I mentioned earlier, just so excited we have college football back, the NFL right around the corner. And obviously, we know it's in season, Paul, because I know you're in transit, actually in the airport right now. So I appreciate you making time before you catch your flight. And I'll let you roll before too much crazy.